Hi guys, how's it going? Everybody alive and kicking tonight? Paper pouncing. Yep, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of paper pouncing. And I'm going to demo a whole bunch for you, and we're going to put a card together. So I've been playing all day with some colors to see how we can put our card together tonight. So everybody welcome. Hi. Yay. Yep, we're shipping as fast as we can, and I can tell you that we prepared ourselves ahead of time to make sure we were ready for an order started pouring in, and they have been pouring in. So that's great. We appreciate all of your business. It really helps us.
Everything that's been ordered is going to be going out tomorrow at the latest, if it hadn't already gone out.
Yes, our shipping department is super fast. So, yay! Awesome. So, guys, if you want me to be able to see your name during the live, you're going to have to give StreamYard permission on Facebook so I can see your name, if you want to do that. And also, if we have anyone who would rather purchase from their local retailers, make sure that you get a hold of your local retailers, your small stores, and tell them that you want them to order Paper Pouncers or any of our PFS products. Because, hello, my darling, and Nani. Hello, guys. And hi, Sarah and Gail and Wendy and Julie. So like I was saying, if you're interested in having PFS at your local stores, have them get a hold of us, and we'll happily help them carry Picket Studios. So my name is Nicole Peterson, and I am the owner designer of Picket Studios, which is a small stamp die tool embellishment stencil company in South Louisiana. Literally almost everyone that works for us is part of our family, and if they weren't, they're kind of stuck with us now. You're going to hear my husband's in here also. He'll be chiming in every once in a while. And his name is Matt. And if you hear some loud barking, those are our two standard poodles that, come in and out, in and out. We try not to let them in the room, but it is what it is when you have dogs. Yes, and this is live, guys. Yep, it's live. So we're going to let a couple more people come on in. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started. So how was your day today? I was a little busy trying to get ready for this. Yes, I have StreamYard. Sarah can answer that question for you, Gail. To let you know, I think it's just right there when you open your Facebook page, but honestly, I'm usually the one sitting down, not doing the technology stuff, and they're telling me don't touch anything. So I'm not really sure where it is, darling. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So my name is Nicole Peterson, and again, I'm the owner designer of Picket Studios. You will hear my husband speak a few times tonight. When there are questions, he's going to answer questions while I'm working so we can get those questions answered. So we are focusing on our brand new products and some previously released products. I like to always include different things, not just brand new stuff in my lives. So we're going to be focusing tonight, though, on die cutting and our paper pouncers. So this is a brand new product. We have two of them. We have one that's a pack of 9. That's the rainbow of colors. Then we have another pack that's 3. That is black, gray, and brown. So, yeah. Let me have it here. So this is the pack of 3. So we call these the neutrals, and it's black, brown, and gray. And when you open it up, we call these little containers pods. So all of your paper pouncers come in a pod, and the pod consists of two parts. It has the top and then the base. And the base conveniently sits on your desk with your pouncer face down, so it keeps your desk from getting dirty. And when you are done, you don't even have to touch the pouncer again. You can just use the cap of the pod and close it. So real quick, you'll notice that this is made of a very, very dense sponge material, okay? And then the base of it is plastic, okay? So they're color coordinated. So the base of this gray one matches its pod. And the pod is meant to keep your desk clean as well as storage and to keep the dust off, because you don't really want dust getting on a sponge, because then you might accidentally put it into your ink pad and that might, have a tendency to ruin it. Now, these are not glued in. There actually is a little cap inside of here with little teeth that holds your sponge in. I did rip one out because I wanted to see what it, I wanted to just test it. And I had to really pull on it to get it to come out, but I was able to smush it back in there. So again, Paper Pouncers come with 3 parts. It comes with a base, the pouncer itself, and the lid, which we call a pod. So there's a set of 9, which are rainbow colors, and then a set of 3.
Can you use with white pigment ink?
You sure can, yes. So let's talk real quick. So tonight I'm going to be using reactive dye ink, and I'm going to be using Bristol Smooth cardstock. And that's because, I hear you, Holly. Just you hold on there, girlfriend. I got you covered. So so let's talk about ink pads. You're not going, if you use this paper pouncer with dye ink and pigment ink, you're not going to hurt the pouncer at all. The pouncer is not the issue. The ink that I'm using tonight is ink on 3. So it's a dye ink that's reactive. So it's just like distress ink, right? So you have an umbrella of 2 different types of inks in the world, either dye inks, pigment inks, and you can say hybrid. So kind of like 3. And dye inks are reactive inks, and distress ink are all the same type of inks, okay? So you want to stay within a dye family, and you don't want to transfer ink from one ink pad that is a dye ink pad into a pigment ink pad, or I'm going to say oxide. So I'm going to put oxide and pigment ink in the same category. Even though oxide would be underneath the umbrella of pigment, I'm going to say pigment and oxide are the same category. The problem that arises with using one tool with both dye ink and pigment ink is you transfer, because obviously there's some ink left on the on the head, right? You run the risk of transferring your dye ink into your pigment ink. And that runs into a problem of you destroy your ink pads, okay? Especially putting pigment ink into a dye ink pad, because they're 2 totally different formulas. Pigment ink actually has powder in it, and that's what makes the pigment ink stay crisp and on top of the paper, because pigment ink actually doesn't absorb into the paper. It sits on top of the paper, and the powder dries and the moisture evaporates. Well, dye ink is the opposite. Dye ink absorbs into the paper, okay? And as it's absorbing into the paper and it's drying, it leaves the ink behind and the moisture leaves. That's why dye ink, when you're stamping with dye ink, it looks blotchy sometimes, but then you come back 20, 30 minutes later and you got a nice smooth stamped image. That's because dye ink absorbs into the paper and the moisture is released from the ink. Well, because pigment ink has powder in it, you can't put that powder pigment ink into dye ink pads. It's not the tool you have to worry about. It's your actual ink pads. And I ordered some ink pads to start having in our shop today. And I can tell you, I haven't ordered ink pads in at least 3 or 4 years, and I was shocked of how much they have gone up in price. So honestly, when it comes to what type of ink you want to use, you really want to be more careful with your ink pads. And you just need to have a little bit of ink knowledge to understand how important it is. And you can go look it up in other companies, and they'll tell you the same exact thing that I'm telling you, that it's super important to watch what type of ink you are exposing your ink pads to. So in other words, you can't use this one applicator for dye ink and then use it for oxide ink. It's just you put the powder into your dye ink and you've destroyed your dye ink pad. It's not the tool that's the problem, it's the ink pad. You were going to say something? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start. So we're going to be playing with the Wander Butterflies again tonight. So Wander Butterflies is this die and stencil set, and it comes separate. You can either purchase the die set, and then separately you can purchase the stencil. So tonight we're just going to be using the die, the outline die of the Wander Butterfly. So it's called Layering Wander Butterfly. All right, so what we're going to do first is, and we're going to be playing with ink on 3. And what's great about ink on 3 is it's a reactive ink, but it also has some properties of watercolor. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ink, and I have all my little colors right here, and I'm going to pounce on the red ink pad, and I'm going to come and I'm going to directly pounce on top of my butterfly. And this is dye ink. So do you see, I want to show you something. Do you see that little smudge right there? Can you see how it's darker right there? That's actually okay because this is dye ink. So chances are that's going to absorb. And I'm also using Bristol Strathmore Smooth cardstock, which has tendencies of like a mixed media type cardstock. So next I'm going to come and right over that, I'm going to pounce with pink. And this is ink on 3, guys. Atelier, I think the name of the ink type is called. So I'm going to come back with my red. And I'm going to really saturate this red. And then I'm going to come back on top. Now, I noticed something today. Do y'all see this ink right here? Today I was working with my yellow one, and I had green on my mat. And I swiped across my glass mat, and I picked up that green ink on my pouncer. And it wasn't a big deal because I just pounced the rest of the ink off. But I did get the green ink where it wasn't supposed to. So we do need to pay attention to our surfaces while we're working, because this part's not that big of a deal. But if I had, you know, because these colors are working together. But if there was like black on here, you definitely would want to wouldn't want to pick up the black with your pouncer and accidentally transfer it. So I have this sitting here for a reason on this pad, because what I want to do is, I don't really care how well these have blended. That for this part, I don't really care, because I want my butterfly to actually, we're going to do a technique where we're going to mist it with water. Okay, and because this is a reactive ink, the ink on 3, you can see right away that those colors are going to start, I call it moving and grooving. So they're going to start playing well together. Okay, and my ink is going to move from one spot to the next, and I don't have to worry about blending with this because the water is going to do all the hard work for me, except I can see in the middle that pink didn't get wet. So what's going to happen is I'm going to start drying this, and then my husband's going to go in the other room for me, and he said he would be sweet and go finish drying it for us. But I do want to show you something first, that the way this is going to be dried is, we're not going to dry it like this, okay? How we normally would dry something. Hey guys, we're going to actually dry it, and we're going to get close to the paper, and we're going to force the water to evaporate. And when that water evaporates, it's going to leave the color. So what happens is you're going to have fun little puddles and like bubbles, and it just looks mutated almost. So let me show you. So right here, I'm just going to find a spot. where there's a whole bunch of water, and I'm going to concentrate on that water. And by doing that, it's going to make it, and you see how it dried, that orange right there dried molted looking? That's because I'm not letting it move. I'm forcing it to dry. And by doing this, it's going to leave us all these amazing, like you call it watermarks if you want. And it's going to give us this fabulous looking butterfly. Now, if we wanted to, we could come back with our paper pouncers and we could go ahead and pounce some more. And look what happens. The ink makes the little marks, the water marks. Can they see it? Makes the water, I'm terrible at catching the light. There you go. See how it's like darker right here now? That's because I just put more ink there. And that ink is going to catch the watermarks that we put, and it's going to make the butterfly have even more interest. So I'm just going to come back with all 3 colors again. I'm going to mist it one more time. This time I'm not going to talk so much. I'm going to immediately dry it. And look, we live in South Louisiana, so we have a lot of humidity. So I can get this technique to work really well here. All right. And it's drying really fast. So my husband's going to just take this in the next room, and he's going to finish drying it. I have a darling husband. So anyway, so while he's doing that, we're going to go ahead and get started by doing some stenciling with our pouncers. So we're going to be making a slimline card tonight. Big surprise, Nicole makes a slimline. That is my favorite type of card. So the mat that I'm working on is a glass magnetic mat. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to have to use a whole bunch of pixie spray or some type of adhesive to hold my stencil. So what I have here is this mint tape. And what I do is, instead of I tape the card, and you don't have to use this much, but I do save mine and use it for other things. And I tape the bottom of my card down. And this has a tiny bit of leftover adhesive left on it from who knows when I used it in the previous. But this is they're sun rays. And what I love about a sun ray background is that it lets you add yellow. And yellow is like one of my go-to colors. Just have to make sure this is straight. And since my mat is magnetic, I do have these magnets that will hold down the sides. But I am going to put tape. Yeah, I am a little on the perfectionist side of, I just feel like if we're going to bother doing it, we might as well do it right. So I'm going to hold this down with some more mint tape. And I get my mint tape from scrapbook.com. Because if you catch it right, you can get it, like the roll that I'm using now. I was ordering yesterday something. I think some type of, I need new tweezers. And they had them on sale for $5. And they had the mint tape, this roll, for $1.99. And that's a really good price. So what I wanted to show you with this is I'm going to ink up with yellow. So here's my yellow, and I'm just pouncing on it. And I'm going to start from the very top. And I'm just going to go all the way across. Because anytime that you're blending something, it's always best to start in one area of your card and finish in that one area. And I know some of you are like, well, duh, Nicole, that's kind of common sense. But after watching a lot of ladies craft all over the country when I traveled and taught for 10 years, you would be amazed how some people will start here and the next pounce is down here. No. We want to keep pouncing in the same area. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hold my stencil with my hands and I'm going to just slide down. And I am purposely showing you this because I saw someone made a comment somewhere on one of the social media. And they said that our sponges are going to rip as soon as we put them onto a stencil that has edges to it. Well, I don't know about you, but there couldn't be another stencil that has more edges to it than this very thin sun rays, right? Now, I don't have to get this absolutely perfect because the sun rays are not perfect in the real world. But notice, I could sit here and do this over and over. But if you hold your stencil down and you're paying attention to what you're doing, you can actually slide this, your pouncer, right across the surface of the paper. Now, I am using Bristol Strathmore Smooth, which I've talked to you about many a times and told you how much this is my favorite type of paper. And you can see here, I do have one of these by the magic of TV already done. So I'm going to move this one to the side. So you saw how I did this. And I can finish this one up later for another card. But and you can, I'm going to show you. And I'm telling you, I can go back and I'll be able to put this stencil exactly where it was to finish it. Super easy. So I just wanted to show you how easy and simple it is. This did not tear the stencil. It did not tear the pouncer at all. It's still perfect yellow pouncer. The mint tape, okay, there is nothing like the old purple tape. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know why what happened with the purple tape. I'm not even, it doesn't matter because like, it's never going to come back. It's been years now. And that company has come out with other types of tapes that are not like their original purple tape. Who knew we could all become so addicted to having a certain type of tape? Mint tape is not like purple tape in the sense of, it's not you know how purple tape it's like masking tape. So it's the top of it is like it's a plastic, on the top of it. Mint tape to me is what I would call, it's a Post-it with a little bit more stickiness to it. Okay, see, and I've already used this, but Post-it, it's stickier Post-it note tape. That's but I do like it better than Post-its or Post-it tape because it's cheaper. And it's made by scrapbook.com, which is within our industry. So I do definitely want to support them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on Matt. Has he brought our butterfly back? Where is it? Okay, so we're going to work on building this butterfly. Okay, so we have a new product that came out last month. Thanks, babe. So look, good job. Did you wiggle it around a little bit to make it move? Mm-hmm. I can see you did, though. Look, it looks great. Look at all so that's what happens when you put the heat gun right up against water and you force it to evaporate. And you force it to evaporate, it leaves behind the markings of the ink and the water disappears. So super fun technique. So what we're going to do is, so I made all of these earlier today and I was playing around with them and I came up with building the butterfly to make it look like it has flowers on top of it. So this is our Wander butterfly, the one that we just made. And what we're going to do is I have already cut out pieces of our butterfly for us. And I'm going to show you how to do this, and we're going to build this together. All right. So I like to start with the leaves first because leaves are easy. And I see that I forgot to pop out the centers of all of my leaves. It's okay. No, not a big deal. All right. So what we're going to do is, I believe, this is just me, my coloring, okay? Whenever I'm coloring something green, I always like to start with yellow. Why? because if you ask me, green and yellow are the two most important colors in the world. I don't know. That's just me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to quickly pounce some yellow onto all of my die cuts. Now, I could be smart and grab something to hold down my pieces while I am pouncing them. Or you could even take a tiny little bit of tape and put a little tape on the back of them. Now, I have thought about using like a misty mat or some kind of mat that has a stickiness to it, but I don't know. Will that mess up the stickiness if I put ink on it? I'm not sure how that works. So this is my thought of how I do them. Is I just put a tiny little itty bit of, and it's not even temporary, it's just regular tape. And I'm going to put them down, and this is going to hold them just enough for me to pounce them. So let's start again. So I'm going to pounce yellow all over them. And you know, I don't want them to be like bright yellow. I just like green to have an undertone of yellow. You know, it's just kind of a thing. What can I say? So I'm going to pounce away. And do you see how fast this is? Look. Easy, easy, easy. This doesn't hurt my arm, doesn't hurt my wrist, nothing hurts. And you know, we have one of Jen was telling me that what she likes about the Paper Pouncers is that it helps her with it allows her to use her left hand, which sometimes she has issues using. So now I'm pouncing with green, and I'm just layering this on. So Jen, if you want to give us a little statement, if you don't mind. Oh, sorry, guys. It's on my ink pads. Here you go. It's the ink pads. Sorry. They were off screen. So now I was trying to have my desk organized because last night I was just such a complete mess. Well, not literally, but you know. I was trying to be a little neater tonight and have it all set up, but I should have known that wasn't going to work with me. All right, so we've got yellow and we've got like a limeish green. Now we're going to use a little bit of a darker green from Catherine Pooler, and it's called Spruce. And I'm going to use my darker green pouncer, and this is a dark green, okay? So we're going to need to be a little careful with it. Oops. So let me show you how dark green this is. I mean, it's a really dark green, but we need something here to help darken it up. And I'm not going to pounce a lot. Look, I'm giving each one 1 pounce of the darker green, putting it away. Now I'm going to go back to my light green, and I'm just going to pounce more light green on top. And just this is enough to make our leaves have enough variation and blending to them where it looks like we actually blended them. Except this one, there we go. Just a little bit more dark to them. So it is kind of like building up sometimes, like you would do with your Copic markers. But if you see, look how fast that is. Where I'm going back now with the dark green, and I'm just adding it just enough, like in the center, if you will. And this one got a line right there. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back with my lighter green and just pounce. Done. They're blended. Woohoo! They're all ready to go. Yes, your guys are going to be like so happy. I can't wait for you to get them. You need to take pictures for me. I would love to see where you put your pouncers, your projects, but I would love to see where you put them in your craft rooms, because I don't know why, but I'm just so interested, because you don't need an organizer, right? These just sit in a drawer. They actually come in a beautiful box where you can just use the box to keep them in if you want. They can be on your shelf. They can, you know, anywhere in a pretty drawer on display. It's just, I love the fact that they don't need an organizer. There we go. Jen's talking about another reason why she loves the Pouncers. You know, and sorry, not to talk. I taught, like I said, I taught all over the US. So I do consider myself a professional crafter, if you will. And that just means that I make my living in the craft industry. Um, yes, it definitely makes it look like yellows and greens together. Just trying to get this dry. All right, now we're going to focus on what color this is actually a fast card after you have everything die cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the butterfly. So here's my butterfly, and I'm going to use 2 florets here facing out, and then another one smack dab in the middle. So this is the one that's going to go in the middle, and then these 2 come over like this. So these 2 are going, I'm going to cut the little stems off because, you know, I can't ever leave something alone. It's always got to change, right? Can't ever leave it alone. So I'm going to turn this floret die cut. They're called layer. I don't know. What are they called, y'all? Jen or Sarah? They're called florets. But what's funny is that my stash, I always have the prototypes. And the prototypes never come with the names of stuff. So I really never know the name. Like I name stuff and then I don't mean to sound silly and say, oh, I name it and move on. That's not really what the problem is. The problem is I have prototypes that I work with. So these are going to be my 2 butterflies. And actually I'm going to show you how they interlock together. So these come to, oh, you can't see. So these come together. They're going to be our center. And then we're going to have this here. So I'm going to cut the little tail off of this one. Now they look like butterfly pieces. All right, so what I want to do is, first, to be honest with you, I need to add some pink back. We've got not much pink going on, but that's actually okay because what we'll do is we'll make these 2 flowers that are facing each other, we'll make them red. Let me get my little tray. I'm going to work on a second. I'm going to work on a glass mat on top of a glass mat. How about that? Does that make a lot of sense? Not really, but it does because I don't have to keep wiping it and y'all have to watch me clean things up. So I'm going to start, and when you see me pouncing, I'm just pouncing on ink pads. I'm going to start with the base of these florets red. And if you notice how I'm holding the head of the sponge. I don't have to. I could just do this. But when you want to concentrate in an area, I don't know. I've just kind of started having a habit of using my hands to squeeze the head of the pouncer. And it's letting me get a really good concentration of ink on those parts. So this is going to be overlapping here. So I think I want to do, I think I'm going to put orange right here. And look at that. Look how it just blended perfectly together. Look, guys, it's like totally blended together. I didn't have to sit here and work at it. I'm not rubbing it. I'm literally just pouncing. And because I'm using dye ink, reactive dye ink, and I'm using Bristol Strathmore Smooth and the Pouncers together. Look how fast that was. Boom, we're like done. Took me longer to think of the idea than it did to execute it, right? I'm adding a little bit more pink just for contrast. Just for contrast. I'm going to come back with a little bit more red because I want that to be really dark right there. Might even come back with a little red on top. All right, so those are my 2 flowers that I'm going to put here. Okay, so that's that contrast. Now I think the flower I want that's going to be dead in the center, I think I want it to be pink instead of. No, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that one yellow, but I'm going to move it away from all the ink. So I'm going to make this one yellow. Obviously, I'm going for a red, pink, orange coral palette, right? So here, I'm going to make it yellow. Oops, got a little smudge on it. And then, let's see, let's put it back. I'm going to come in with red. I'm going to really concentrate red across the bottom. And you see how easy they're just blending together like that? I'm telling you, it's the dye ink and the Bristol Smooth. There we go. Now look at that. Bam, baby. Done. So fun. Oh yeah. What did you say? The new pouncers look like, oh no, Lori. No, girlfriend. Let me show you. You see this? This is not your mama's pouncer. Okay? I can pull it in and let you show you. This is a solid as foam can get. Okay? Dense, soft, super bouncy material. This is not like your mama's pouncers at all. At all. Not at all, darling. If anything, and also they, you'll notice, I'm out of screen. You'll notice also that with them, they don't rip, they don't tear. You can't hurt them. Yes, and if you want to get them clean, you just wipe it off onto a damp towel or something like this. Like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to interlock these two flowers and I'm just going to place them. And this just so happened to work out, guys. Wasn't anything that I really did. I am going to quickly pop out these little pieces. I did forget to do that. But after they've been inked and messed with, they'll come out really easy. So no, darling, they are nothing like I wish I had one of those cheap old-fashioned pouncers and I would show you, girl. Because let me tell you, they're nothing like what we used to have. Those cheap sponges that would rip off and the Velcro would rip off and all kinds of and those things were expensive. People had someone tell me something about a price one day and I thought, oh my goodness. So look, once these two little florets are linked together, it's a butterfly. Good. The finger daubers, yep, they would split and crumple. These are not the same. I'm sounding so Southern right now. Sorry about that. These are nothing like that. Nothing at all. You will absolutely be amazed. When I ordered them and the samples finally came in, let's just say it was one of those, oh my gosh, we have a great solution for all of our friends that are out there that have issues with their hands and can't use those old-fashioned sponge daubers. Those old-fashioned sponge daubers or blending brushes. Because let me tell you something. A blending brush is great. I was just going to say your Southern is coming out. Oh, I know, Charlene. I'm sorry. When I get excited, you're going to hear it. I am a Southern belle. It's just who I am. There's nothing I can do about it. So there's our little butterfly with two florets. Isn't it cute? And it could stand alone by itself. So I'm going to put it down. Oh, and it is blending in a lot, but that's okay. I'm going to come in with some more red and pounce on top. And then I'm going to glue this sucker right down in the middle. So let me put some glue. And if I was in my studio, I would have grabbed a little thing that I recently discovered that I love to use with wet ink. So I'm going to line this up to where it's lined up with the center portion of the butterfly. Isn't that so cute? Golly, I keep getting off screen. Isn't that cute, guys? Look. So much fun. So fun. Look. So simple. Okay. Now, we got that done. The next part is we're going to overlay this, but I think I want to put more yellow. So let me put more yellow on this because I really want it to stand out. A whole bunch of yellow. Guys, I don't know if someone made a nasty comment or not, but I will tell you that we don't take bullying here at PFS very kindly. Charlene was telling me my Southern is showing. My mama bear is going to come out too. We don't bully other people, and that is not, and that includes me. um, so we do appreciate all your kind comments, and we want you to know how much we appreciate you being here. But trolls beware, you will be kicked out. All right, so we have this. So this is going to go right on top of this butterfly. And we're just building this butterfly just to give it some more added interest. Isn't that so cool? I know it's me and I shouldn't be saying cool things about my own stuff. But, I don't know what else to say. Look how ugly it is, right? I think it's beautiful. So let me just clean this up because we are getting a little where we can't work. Are the pouncers washable? Okay, let's talk about the washable pouncers. If you want to take them to the sink and wash them with soap and water, regular soap, regular water, you can. But let me tell you what happens, Kathy. When you saturate our pouncers, the sponge grows, okay? Now, it doesn't hurt the pouncer, but it is going to be where I'm just trying to dry this. Your sponge will grow, okay? And then you have to let it sit there for about 2.5 days, and it will like shrink down a little bit because one of these, I have one of my green ones. I don't know which. I can't even tell anymore which one it was, but I washed it. And when I washed it, it took 2.5 days to dry, but I do live in Louisiana. And it did shrink down a little bit. So we're just saying that these are not meant to be blenders, okay? They do blend if you're working with complementary colors that work well together, like these colors I'm working with. You're going to find that it's very easy to get them to blend together, just like Copic markers. Now I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to place this down. You see that little tip right there? I want that tip to be in the center, and I want it to cover the bottom portion of my butterfly. Of course, I'm getting fingerprints on it. Completely off topic. Are the little people in the finish? What happened? It went away. I can't read it. I don't know what happened, guys. I'm cheap. Well, you know what, Lori? I understand. I do. Because you know what? I would do that too. Trust me. You can ask the people on here. I am very, very much a cheapskate. Last night I was showing them how to keep their boxes. Don't throw your boxes away because that kind of your pouncers come in, because you'll see that you want to hold on to those. So the pouncers don't hold on to ink the way traditional daubers do. No, they don't. Regular traditional daubers are made of the cheapest foam that they can find. Okay. Now, am I going to say that I'm ever going to be able to use this red one with yellow? No. Okay. But I can come on scratch paper, and look, I've been using my red a lot today. And I can come and look, see, as I go around this paper, it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter, where that means you could use just this one pouncer for all your reds, right? Dark red, a light red, whatever, fiery orange, because most of your ink will come off. Now, would I take this and put it into my yellow? No way, Jose. But I would use this in orange, because to me, this is kind of still in that same little, in the same color family, right? So yeah, they're going to hold on to ink somewhat, but you can very easily rub it off. If you want to put them with soap and water, you can. But like I said, it's going to take forever it takes like a day and a half for them to dry. So I just found that the best advice I had, okay, next, no, they are not. The finish line people are about half the size of the walk in the park. Okay, so someone's asking, I know this person who it is. She's asked me to put more out of our little people. I will. I promise I will. I was actually looking at them. the other day I was looking at the stamp set thinking, oh, what are we going to do next? Because we've done winter, we've done a park, we did the tree house. You have the tree house one? Because if you don't have the tree house, that came out last spring and it has the little people in it. What she's talking about. Yes. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. I was super excited because I don't know. I always think that anytime you have something with color, it always should have green. Okay. So what I did is here's the butterfly, and I made this extra little flouncy, I don't know what you want to call this, an extra little part. And right here, we're going to take another flower and we're going to take some leaves and we're going to make it look like the butterfly has kind of like a tattoo butterfly. That's what this reminds me of. It's like a butterfly, a tattoo. Like somebody gets a tattoo of a butterfly. It's like all flourishy and stuff. That's what this reminds me of. So next I'm going to show you how to do this. And we've already done most of it because we've already done the leaves. So next we're going to take two more. And oh, guys, the floret set, I did bring it in here. Let me show you. So this is what the floret set looks like. You get 3 large flower heads. You get 2 leaves that are faced opposite each other. And then you get this one larger leaf. Plus there's about 12 little pieces of leaves and some holly and stuff. But they were all scattered all over my desk and I didn't have time to gather all of them up. So if you're interested in the florets, which I'm gonna be honest, this might be my new favorite set, Sarah. I had so much fun today with this. They do have like, I don't know, 10 or 12 little bitty pieces that come with it also. I just didn't have time to get them all together. So now we're going to make this butterfly yellow and orange. I mean butterfly, floret, yellow. So let me, I'm gonna make you yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. I hate it when people sing on lives. I won't sing. So we're going to pounce away on yellow. And these are going to be on this side of our butterfly. So we're going to make them kind of more orangey because I want them to contrast against this pink. So let's give them an orange base. Look how easy that is. And I am pinching my pouncer because I'm trying to keep it within a certain area. Same thing with this one. Now do you see why I have a little glass mat on top of my glass mat? Yes. So go back to the yellow because it is, but I'm gonna move off the orange because I don't want to pick up that orange. Okay, so let's see how these look. Come here, butterfly. So we're going to have this coming across. And it's going to go like this. So actually, I think I need to make it match this one. So I can use this one. So let me make it, the rest of it orange. Then I'm going to come back with red. And I think I pounced really, really, really hard. Sorry about that. I couldn't see what I was doing. Really, and you see how often I'm having to go back and pick up ink, right? If I wasn't having to go back and pick up ink so often, that would mean that my sponge was absorbing a whole bunch of ink. But because I have to keep going back and forth, it's only picking up enough ink that's on the surface. All right, where are you? Okay, so let's see. Let me go back and add some orange right here. Let's see, is that just about close enough? You know, whenever you do something like this, if you're going to put one flower opposite the other, you should do both of those flowers at the same time. Because I have a hard time copying. Even myself, I have a hard time copying. It just never seems to come out. Let me make this a little bit more yellow. Yellow, 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 yellow. There we go. All right, so now this flower is going to come over here. Yes, they match. especially once this ink dries, because once the ink dries, remember I'm using dye ink, and once the dye ink dries, we will be able to have them really, they'll really match more in color, because the flower that right here that has the green on it, I did that about, yeah, I'm using my sweater to dry this off because I forgot to bring in a towel. It's okay. This ink has been on here for about 4 hours. So it's not, these two are never going to match until this one has about 4 hours to dry. Okay, so next we're going to, here's this one. And I did notice I had to trim off the edges of the floret to get it to work. So I'm going to trim them off. I did trim this little part off. I don't know why. Oh, I didn't, but I'm going to trim it off anyway, just so it doesn't later on cause trouble. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to grab 2 of the leaves that are opposite each other, and then the center leaf. And I'm going to put some glue. I'm showing you how I made this. I'm going to put a little glue right here. I like destroy glue pin tips. I mean, I leave them open all the time, and some kind of way I managed to destroy them. All right, so what I did is, this one is like at the head of the floret, above, pretty much like this, where the center part of the floret and the center of the leaf are together. Then I took, instead of having the leaves go up, I put them on the opposite and I have them turned down. So I just need to put some glue, right in here, and hold that up here towards the center, higher a little bit. And I'm just trying to add some green. I don't know, anytime I'm coloring something or a flower or anything, it doesn't ever look finished to me until there's some green added. When I used to teach coloring classes and somebody would say, oh, I don't like the way mine looks coming out. It doesn't look like yours. And I was always like, well, baby, that's because my example that we're looking at is completely dry and it already has green added to it. So you really can't judge, in my opinion, any type of coloring of a flower until you've added your green. Because in real life, all flowers have green on them, right? So until you've added green to your finished product, you can't judge your coloring. All right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put this one on this side and this one on this side. And I couldn't figure out what it was earlier that it was reminding me of, and that's what it is, a butterfly tattoo. Tattoos that people get of butterflies on their bodies are always very ornate. I don't have any tattoos, but my sister and brother do. But I'm too chicken to get a tattoo. But that's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of exactly what a tattooed butterfly that people get for tattoos. That's what it reminds me of. All like fancy-ish. Have I lost you guys? All right. And look, I messed up right there, but that's okay. That's room for embellishment, right? Now I'm going to stick this one on this side. I'm going to have to go back after I do this, before I put this on my card for craftsmanship, because this card will probably be at Creativation, and that means people are going to be touching it. So I'm going to have to go back after when I finish and go add more glue or even tape behind it, because if I don't, we could very easily have a card fall apart on us at a bad time. Come on now. All right. The hardest thing to do is to position things during a live. All right. I'm just going to hold it for a minute. So isn't this fun? How fast? I don't know how long we've been on here. Oh, like an hour. But other than die cutting, we did all of this coloring and pouncing. So I'm going to come over here and behind this, guys. Just going to add a little bit more glue behind it, like so. And I think I usually keep wrapping tape in my desk drawer, because a lot of times on stuff like this, I'll turn it over and just put regular tape to see how this is kind of like flapping. So I'm going to have to go back and add something to that. So now we're done with our butterfly. We can put our beautiful butterfly onto our stencil background, or we could be done, slap a sentiment on it, walk away. But I have something else. Look at this tree. This tree came out in November, and it's called, I'm not sure what it's called. Because see, like I said, I never have the inserts. I make the inserts, but I always end up with the prototypes. I think it's slimline, rectangular tree, something like that. Sarah will know. Or is Jen on? I don't know which one's still on. So earlier, I took my pouncers and I made this tree. Okay. Literally 2 minutes. Okay. My DD got a tattoo without my knowing. When I saw the image, I couldn't be upset. She had a beautiful color. All right, so I can't decide. So now that I'm with you guys, I'm liking the tree. What do you think? Do you like the tree? The butterfly over the tree? We could even turn the tree this way because I cut off. Oh yeah, I like that better. So I'm using the tree upside down. Go figure, Nicole would use the tree upside down. See, I had cut the little stump off earlier because I wasn't sure. So, okay, yes or no, let me know. Tree or no tree? I'm going to wait until y'all decide. Add the tree or no tree? Tree or no tree? So while y'all decide if we're going to put the tree or the no tree, I'm going to pounce the tree for you because I have the inks right here because I wanted to show you how easy it is. This is what the pouncers are made for, right? What I'm about to show you. Okay, this is what they're for. Super, super delicate, intricate dies that would take us this however long to use with our blending brushes. And remember, pouncers do not take the place of blender brushes, guys. Thank you, Jen. No tree? I know, I'm a tree hugger. I don't know what to say. I love trees. But let me show you how easy this tree is. Pink? You want a pink tree? Ooh, but if I did pink, Charlene, you wouldn't be able to see anything else. I'm kind of digging the tree, guys. I don't know. It makes it look mossy. Let's see. Let me just show you how to do the tree. I'm here. I know I love pink too, but I don't know, Charlene. I might completely lose the butterfly. So I'm coming in here. Look at this delicate die cut. Look at this sucker. How delicate is this thing? You would never take a blending brush to this, right? Never, ever. And I am using brown ink. And if you do put the ink in front of you instead of across your table, you get the ink a little bit faster. Now, using the same brush, I'm going to come in. This is Brush Corduroy from Ranger Tim Holtz Distress. And I'm going to come in. I'm going to add, my tree is like pretty much done. But I am going to add water to it because that's just the kind of girl I am. So this is exactly what I did. Now I'm going to come in with darker. Sarah, I'm going to turn this into that sample you've been needing. Sarah and I have been needing a sample of something, and she's been after me all week. Did you finish it? No, I didn't finish it yet. I'm sorry. I've got 20 million things to do. I still haven't finished my class for Create yet. So I'm just coming back in. So now look, my cheap lady, just for your love of ink, girlfriend, I'm going to saturate. Look at all that ink I picked up. Trust me. Well, I'm really not cheap. I wish I was cheaper but I don't want to waste ink. That's for sure. Okay. Now, if you didn't know this, Sarah's been cracking the whip. Well, you know, she did. Sometimes I need Sarah to crack the whip. I have so many things on my plate. And, you know, one day I'll do something like silly and take a nap. And the next day I'm like, oh, gosh, I didn't get anything done today. And Sarah's like, I know. You got so many deadlines. Technically, Sarah works for me. However, I think I work for her, too. So look at that tree. Look at that gorgeous tree. Oh, gorgeous. So simple. So simple. Is that how you feel, Charlene? Sarah whips you into shape too? All right, so there's that tree, guys. You can't get easier than this. I looked at the time. This took us 4 minutes. And probably I could have done it faster if I wasn't talking. Okay, so let's go back to tree or no tree. Ugh, let me wipe my hands. Tonight's mess is a lot less. Look at these baby wipes. I wish I could find something that I could use that I wouldn't waste so many baby wipes. But man, there are just times that I do have those cloth towels, but even those, after a while, I end up throwing them away because no matter how many times I wash them, they're covered with just stuff. The tree is gorgeous, but the butterfly hides it. Okay, we'll see. Well, I was thinking the butterfly would hide. Oh no, it's wet. I don't know, guys. You don't think it's too plain Jane? Does it like the tree? With the little squirrel in the tree? Oh yeah. Oh no, the tree's gonna be. I'm gonna do something with the tree because we need a sample for the neutral pouncers. So the tree's going to be used some kind of way. I was just kind of trying to stick it in there where I could say, here, Sarah, I did this card and look, you can use it for this, but I guess it's not going to work. I don't know. I like it. You know what? I'm going to end up having to make 2 of these cards because that's what happens when you do lives. So I'll do one with the butterfly and one without. How about that? All right. So let's say we're going to do it without the tree. And I'm going to cheat because this is what I do. I have a whole bunch of our fancy sentiments. And I think we have like 6 or 7 sets now of fancy sentiments. So I die cut them and I put them in a little plastic sleeve. So when I'm doing something or I need to hurry and get a card done. Tree, tree, tree. I know I like the tree too. So that way when I'm done, I have something that I can very quickly grab one. Who doesn't? I mean, I love your smile. That works. It's kind of big. Happiness is contagious. Or I love your smile. Oh, I might have to find something smaller. I thought these were going to work. Sprinkle kindness daily. I don't think any of these are going to work. Talk about hide my butterfly. Oof. No. I have to find something else later on. Let's see, Mr. Tree. Do we like you or we do not like you? I'm not sure, guys. I'm going to do one with the tree and one without the tree. How about that? The best sentiments. Oh, I know. These are our favorite, Sarah's saying. Thinking of you. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to find something smaller. It's really, really. The tree makes the butterfly pop. I agree. It kind of looks like moss. Wonder if I should make it. No, I'm not going to add more green. But it kind of does look like moss. You know, what if I cut this part of the tree off? Let's see. It's just paper. If it doesn't work, I can always make another one. Let me cut that part of the tree off. That way there's a hole at the top. Oh, what about that? Where there's no tree sticking out at the top. It kind of looks like the butterfly's wings now. It kind of reminds me, I don't know. How about that? Where the butterfly's not showing at the top or the bottom. It's just on top. How about that? All right. So guys, that's about it for tonight. Remember, everyone who leaves a comment has a chance to win a door prize. And they will be announced in the group in a couple of days. We usually well, you know what? I'm not even going to say what we do because Jen takes care of that. And I could very easily mess up her routine by saying what happens. So I've given up that amount of control. I know. I agree with you. Oh, put the sentiment on top now. Okay, let's see. It's so big, though. Ugh. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I could put the sentiment right. I could stamp a sentiment right there. Or a sentiment. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp a little sentiment here. But now you need to make a butterfly with the tree on top of it. What are you talking about? You want a butterfly like this? Oh, you want me to cut the tree in half and this half go on this? You're right, Holly. I could use that sword. So what you're saying is I could use this for a butterfly wing, but not the tree. Well, I think what I'm going to do, guys, is remember I have this other tree and I have this other half card. And look, I still have this butterfly that I started and all of these and all those leaves. I'm just going to make two. I'll do one with the tree and one without the tree. How about that? That's what we'll do. Yes, the branches as wings. There we go. Now Jen's going to tell you what she's going to do about all that. So, well, guys, we did a whole bunch of stuff in an hour. I'm very impressed with us tonight. I get to go back and read all your lovely comments because they do make us happy. Excuse me. I hope everybody has a good evening. And you never know, we might have more pouncing coming up real soon. We will, trust me. But I hope you guys have a good evening and you enjoy your supper or your good night's rest or your breakfast if you're just waking up. So, toodaloo. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.